So, I want to tell you that I am a big believer in ice therapy. You'll have to forgive the noise behind me, it's a little bit loud. If you'll go out and watch Impact Theory with Tom Bilyeu, Wim Hof, W-I-M-H-O-F, Mr. Cold, Ben Greenfield, I believe it's Joe Lawrence, Hank Elrod, Emily Fletcher, Gabrielle Berenstein, Dr. Daniel Amen, John Maxwell, and hundreds of people that he's interviewed. And then you've got neuroscientists like Moran, M-O-R-A-N, Cerf, C-E-R-F, and another, Matthew Walker, out of UC Berkeley, Professor Cerf, who was born in Israel, but is French-Canadian, and I believe he moved to Canada, but anyway, he was born in France, raised in Israel, but he has a French accent. Neuroscientists who talk about brain hacking and how you can go into your deepest memories in meditation and call up all of the good ones. Yes, there may be some difficult ones, but there are some great ones. And that's what I've been doing for a month. I've been hacking my brain because I wondered what happened to him for a while. And I know some of you are wondering why I was asking you. Well, I went back in. I could go into detail, but I'm going to do those 5-minute vignettes. But real quickly, one of the very first memories I recall being in Hearne, Mahaley, who was a housekeeper that the church hired so that my mom could take me around with her. We certainly weren't rich, and we didn't, we didn't behave like we were. We were just preachers, and I was a preacher's kid. But I recall running to Mahaley. She wore a blue dress, yellow flecks, and her first house, which had the living room to the left, the dining room to the right, kitchen sort of in the middle, the light was on, kitchenette at the back, hallway to the left, 1 bathroom, 3 bedrooms. And that's what I remember. The next memory was going to Brazil on the boat. And it was a great feeling. Mom was to the left, Dad was holding me in his right arm, the Edwards were to my right, Gerald holding Jana, and her little head was sort of leaning on me and Nancy to her right. We were looking out of the window into the water, and Dad said that's when we left the port of New Orleans. The next memory was that beautiful house that we had in Brazil, and I'll tell you exactly how fun it was. Those earlier memories, even with some of the interesting things, everything was just great. And I'm going to end with what my hurdle coach taught me. I think I said this in another video, but I'm going to go ahead and end with that. We had neighbors that lived off to the left. Their kids taught me how to roller skate. They had chickens. A rooster woke us up every morning. They also, I love to watch them pluck a chicken that they would cook. I was fascinated. The people across the street, Dona Josephine and Sir Wilson, always had us over. Their older sons were like big brothers and cousins, and the Shoes lived next door. So Leon, Boy, Ina, and Linda went to church with us. They later became Christians and converted their parents. Indonesians, their home always smelled of teak, great food. And the thing about where we lived, as you recall, we used to walk by this polo field at the back of the Ipica Paulista, which was a very, like I said, I always thought everybody had one in their backyard. And I loved watching the men play polo. We walked to the Sour Milk's house, and Brenda taught me how to do cartwheels. And, there's nothing like doing a great cartwheel. It's like watching one of those wagon wheels going on a cart, going around in circles perfectly. The Kibon man, the ice cream man, came by every time. K-I-B-O-M, which is a play on the words Kibon, Q-U-E-B-O-N, which means how good. I always got lemon. My brother got chocolate. And there was the smell of food in the streets and diesel constantly because people had you know, pots of beans boiling and rice in the pressure cooker, and eventually, you know, when that was near done, then you would slice a thin piece of beef and serve it with the beans and rice, which we had nearly every meal. Fresh fruit, salads, French bread, fresh butter, coffee, milk for breakfast. And so there was always a smell of food. And then the markets that came, they had everything from fresh produce, meats, knickknacks, crafts. It was called a feta, or a fair, or a market, and they would meet on the same street pretty much every week. And you would take your basket and buy fresh whatever. Now, those are my earliest memories from our first house. And I'll go ahead and tell you about what my hurdle coach told me. If you missed another video that I shared, Coach Abbott and Coach Hall taught us athletics, track, basketball. Coach Walker actually coached us when we played. He was the men's coach, and he coached, I believe, my sophomore year, but I think Coach Hall and Abbott were my freshman year. I may be wrong. Somebody may need to correct me. I loved hurdles. I did throw shot put competitively at home, but everything else, at the time, I couldn't run a quarter of a mile without turning red, but I enjoyed the hurdles. And he said, make sure that your lead hand, foot, and eyes are looking above the hurdles. And you might nick it, but make sure and finish it. But if you want to knock a hurdle down, make sure and look at it. So, anyway, I think life is mostly about that solid footing, the clear air that is in between the hurdles. You know, sometimes it's like going through a door, like the Matrix, maybe. Or maybe it's like a high jump, and you need a pole. For me, ice baths have been kind of like a pole and pole vaulting. So let me show you. I've lost a little more even since a few days ago. And it's coming off naturally. I'm not doing anything crazy. And I still weigh. I'm not going to turn around behind. But I am still carrying about 30 pounds more in order for my knees to be really strong, but I don't have any more knee pain. And I thank God for that, and for all that I'm learning on impact theory. So I hope this is helpful to you. I'm off to buy more ice so that I can do my treatments tonight, tomorrow, and I continue in an upward trajectory. And I don't want to take anything for granted. But if I'm known for anything at all, I'd like to be known for somebody who overcame, or at least made the effort to overcome, and to help others with the knowledge and the benefit. So while I'm on top, I'd like you to know what's going on. Thank you for taking your time to listen to this. Have a great evening. Oh, speaking of horses, this is my equestrian shirt, which I did take up horseback riding at camp, and then English style riding later in life with my dear friend Kent Long. I'm sending you a lot of love, Kent. And then we owned horses in Fort Gibson and Edmond. I rode a little bit with my best friend Sandy, her horse Appy, in high school. And then when I was in New England, I worked for Dave Edwards in exchange for riding lessons, and learned how to post, how to jump. And when I came back, I got to ride with Tammy Montalvo, who showed me some more things that I didn't know about riding. Anyway, hopefully I'll get back into horseback riding as well. Thank you very much. Take care. And until soon, let's put a comma here. Bye-bye.